Hi guys, my name is Reagan Goodwin, and my presentation today is about women in Islam. Um, my initial thoughts on this were probably pretty similar to most of what yours were. My biggest question was how are women actually treated, and hopefully through my presentation you'll learn some common misconceptions and gain a better understanding of the treatment of women, and through that a better understanding of Islam as a religion. So, first, a common misunderstanding about Islam is the treatment of women. For most people in the Western world, the picture of Islamic women, from their understanding, is the stereotype that's women hidden behind veils, voiceless, silent figures without any rights. And this is because of media representation in popular movies and things like that. That's what our understanding of it is. Um, So, before the advent of Islam, women weren't equal to men in respects to like social and personal conditions and stuff. And when I say before the advent of Islam, we're talking like 14,000 years ago. So, Islam was born in the Arabia Peninsula, which is now Saudi Arabia, and it was in um, the 7th century AD. So that was a little over 14,000 years ago, is when um, this unequal rights between men and women was uh, a popular practice. And at this time was when like female babies were abandoned or buried alive and polygamy was still practiced. And this was when women weren't treated very well around the world as well. It wasn't just in um, like Arabian countries. Um, so the Prophet Muhammad is the biggest and most important influence regarding the change in women's rights. His teaching regarding education, social and political rights, property rights, and ultimately human rights set a new standard. Um, so the new standards were equal right to education. The pursuit of knowledge is a duty of every Muslim man and woman. And so the through that, the pursuit of knowledge became a religious law, and it became necessary for not only men but also women to obtain knowledge, and it opened a door to better understanding. Um, Honor and support women. Um, a popular saying that through all my research, I found was, "Paradise lies under the feet of the mother," um, and this was like it became a religious responsibility to be um, supportive and respectful of women. Another right that they gained was to be active in social and political and military affairs. Self advocacy was really what it was about. And then women were able to sell and buy property, own businesses, vote, take legal actions, and inherit and keep money and dowry in case of divorce. Um, and all human beings can ascend to the divine. Um, Yeah, so these divine laws, it became a religious duty for every Muslim, male or female, to honor women, treat sons and daughters justly, and for males to provide support, not obstacles for women and their achievement. Um, so this Anisa is the fourth chapter of the Quran. So it says, it says about women, and live with them in kindness. For if you dislike them, perhaps you dislike a good or a thing, Allah makes therein much good. So it's saying, if you read more of this section of Anisa, it's talking about if you dislike women, then you dislike the good things that Allah has created for you. So that was kind of interesting for me to read. Um, Western hypocrisy. Why is it normal for some religions but considered oppressive for another? So in this picture, you can see an Orthodox Jewish woman, a Catholic nun, and an Orthodox woman, and it represents tradition, devotion, and just religious practice. But for Muslim women, it represents oppression, submission, and terrorism. So the Western hypocrisy is just that, when it's really, they all represent the same thing. Muslim women wear the head covering, the hijab, in fulfillment of God's decree to dress modestly. This type of modest dress has been worn by religious women throughout time, such as, as you saw in the last picture, Catholic nuns, Mother Teresa, the Virgin Mary. So it's not an uncommon thing. So the biggest takeaway is that women are not as oppressed as the Western world tends to believe they are or to represent them as. Any Muslim man that oppresses a woman is not following Islam. Among the many teachings of Muhammad that protects the rights and dignity of women is his saying, "The best among you are those who treat their wives well." So they really support the equal treatment of women. And the misconception comes from the extremist groups, and that's not the norm for most of the religion. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you got something out of it.